I've been through a lot in the past 2 years of my life, and you can look it up, you can Google it. Well, don't Google it.
We know, like mentally, we understand that we are created by God, we are His children. But for us to understand how that applies in our everyday life and the freedom that that brings us, there's such a gap in that.
Here's what I've discovered about the tactics of the enemy is that he's been using the same tricks from the very beginning. He knows the Word of God, and so that's the first thing we have to know, is that he will take the Word of God and he'll twist it just enough.
I've always felt really at home on stage, and I felt almost like I was in church, and I felt very connected to what I was doing.
Like, I've been through a lot of embarrassing things, and especially I wanted to commit suicide. I was in rehab for 4 months. It's a long story. Somebody goes like, what's going on here?
There's identity, calling, and assignment. Identity is who God says I am. No one else has, like, He owns the exclusive copyright on Tauren Wells. No one else gets to speak into that.
When I was in that dark season and I was shutting out everybody, the one thing that I turned to was my old vice, which was food.
Because we're creating, and I mean, God is a creator. You know, when you read the whole first chapter of Genesis, He made the earth and the stars and the spaces, and He made man, and He blew life into, you know, Adam.
There's a lot of shame surrounding sex, especially as a Christian. Because everything I went through was horrific and embarrassing and awful, and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. But the only thing worse is if that would have never happened to me.
Then there's calling, and that's the thing that He has purposed for us to accomplish in the world in a general sense.
I had been on a weight loss journey. My third album, there's a song called Stronger, and I remember the day that song came out, I stepped on the scale and I had lost 100 pounds exactly. Since then, I had lost over 120 pounds. But when Keisha died and I began shutting out the world and shutting out Jesus, I started to turn back to food. And so I gained every 120 of those pounds back. And then in that 3-year period where I was in the dark, I gained 75 more on top of that. So almost 200 pounds I gained in 3 years.
I was so angry at God, and I was like, you put this in me and you've shut every door, and what is going on? And so I had like 9 years, and I got an opportunity to go to LA, and the first month I was there, I went to an orphanage in Mexico with the church, and we like laid down a lawn, and we helped the kids. And when I came back, I had this huge sense of peace that I'd never had before, and I realized that I had been making the acting career the center of my life.
Every time I had like a sold-out show or anything that I did like on television, it would always come, as a Christian, it would come with a lot of shame, because I thought that if everybody knew the truth about me, that all these people would hate me. And that whole rehabilitation process, as I found out that there's a God that loves you and He cares about you and He's not mad at you.
But then there are assignments, and this is where the identity thing gets twisted and distorted.
Right.
Because we'll take an assignment that is connected to our calling, and we will invest our identity in something that He has called us to do. So when that assignment starts, this is who I am. I'm a Christian artist. I've got a title for it. It's a part of my calling, but it's a specific assignment. So then my whole identity, if I'm not careful, is now in what He's assigned me to do.
So here's the lie that the enemy told me. Mandisa, Jesus does not want you to be in this kind of pain. You are a child of God, and there's no way that this is the abundant life that He wants you to live. So if you were to take your life right now, you could be in heaven with Him.
There's only one thing that can be the center of your life, and that's your faith. And I think I wasn't doing that. And I think God was withholding everything until He made sure that He was the center of my life and not the career. Because look, the career comes and goes.
David said, on your word will I meditate day and night. Like, God commands His blessing to those who rise early in the morning to seek Him. Like, it's prayer.
You see, there's a little bit of truth there. He doesn't want me to live in that misery and that darkness. And it's true that when I do leave this world, that I am going to be in heaven with Him, but He's going to be the one that's going to choose when that's going to happen.
You can't rely on those things because they don't last. And you have to know that the purpose of your life is glorifying God with your life, not glorifying yourself with your career.
The enemy is going to try, he's coming after everybody, but those that are followers of Jesus, those who have a calling on their lives to spread the gospel and the light, he's going to come after us even harder. And so we cannot expect for Christians to not go through this. We can't expect for Christians not to commit suicide. It's because the enemy is coming full force after us. And so the fact that he's doing that means that he's terrified of you, and he should be, because you've got resurrection power.